down.
No, that was a 4th and Darren.
That's right.
Boy, he is some football player.
8 Pro Bowls out of UCLA, Jonathan Ogden. 3rd and 17.
Good rush by Will Smith.
Bowler gets it away, just heaving it in the general direction of Derek Mason. But Kyle was feeling the pinch from Will Smith and Tony Bryan.
Yeah, Will Smith almost had the sack right there. Then he just threw it away, and
Charles Grant really
got nailed by Charles Grant. Yeah, he did take a couple pretty good licks in that series.
Dave Zastadil will punt it away. 4 years out of Ohio U. Michael Lewis back deep for the Saints, waiting at the 30.
Short punt.
Not much Michael could do with that
no,
one.
As Diaz used to say, he had a notion, but wisely let it bounce.
It's down at the 26, a 50-yard boot by Zastadil. 2:26 remaining here in the opening quarter. Well, you told us you wanted good, wholesome family entertainment, but we said no. Catch South Park premiering this fall on UPN New Orleans. Tim Brando, Archie Manning, along with Ro Brown, happy to have you with us from the Superdome in New Orleans. And the Ravens leading 7-0. The Saints with possession at their 26.
Mike Carney in the backfield at fullback. Saints open with 2 receivers, 1 tight end.
Play fake, Brooks. Markers down, thrown in an area where holding would be the presumed call, as Kelly Gregg, number 97, was coming in on a stunt.
It's like he won on the play action on the fake, trying to get Joe Horn down the field. Aaron had to spin out of his pocket pretty quick.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both of them holding, both of them against the Saints. 72 was holding, that is declined. Number 70 was holding, also accepted. 10-yard penalty remains, first down.
Sadly, I believe that many in the crowd anticipated that. Mike Carey is our referee today. Umpire Dan Farrell, headlinesman Steve Stelgis.
Is that the way that works when there's 2 holding? The rookie gets the credit for it.
Yeah, right. Always.
Oh, Gandy's been around forever.
Mike Carey is one of the really outstanding referees of the National Football League.
He's a good official.
Had the opportunity to meet him a time or two. You'll learn a lot about the game when you talk to him. Conwell and Hilton, twin tight end look for the Saints. Go back the other way to Deuce McAllister. And the Deuce out to the 34-yard line. Will Dimps, the free safety.
Nice run by Deuce. He broke some tackles there, ran right through Ed Reed.
17-yard carry. Dimps made the tackle.
That kind of tackling didn't get Ed Reed the most valuable defensive player in the league last year.
Saw the numbers from last week. We mentioned it at the top of the show. This offense is now beginning to define itself as a deuce-first approach, and I think it definitely relaxes Aaron Brooks when that happens. Ray Lewis makes the stop of McAllister as he gets the first down.
Well, every quarterback needs a running game, and especially in this league, if you can't run the football, he's not going to be a successful quarterback. Carney out. Zach Hilton checks in.
Kendall Jaycox did his job at left guard to open it up. Mike Carney, as you might expect, in the face of the opposition. 1st and 10.
I think the Saints are going to try to go deep here in a minute.
Horn in motion.
Oh, Conwell's wide open.
Well, he got Horn, and Horn ran a nice little bump, the pick play, has a first down beyond midfield to the 48-yard line.
The play action really fooled the Ravens linebackers and secondary. And even though Joe Horn was open on a short route, Conwell was in behind him. Like somewhere right in here.
Yep.
Right there. Still, though, what is it? I used to have a coach say you never go broke taking a profit.
Would that have been the little mentor, Henry Strand?
No, it wasn't the little mentor. Who was honored before the game tonight? Actually, it was Jerry Burns.
I remember Jerry. I sure do. 7-0 Ravens.
Ford is the best-selling brand 18 years straight.
Welcome back. Saints trailing Baltimore 7-0 at the start of the second quarter. Deuce McAllister, when the Deuce is on the loose, it really opens things up. Wasn't a coincidence. Good run by Deuce. Pass completion to Joe Horn. People have to remember, Deuce McAllister is 73 yards short of becoming the all-time leading rusher in Saints history behind George Rogers. And you got to remember, his rookie season, he didn't rush for 100 yards all season. Back to you guys upstairs.
McAllister takes off for a couple of yards, and that's about it. 2nd down and 8 coming up as we open the second quarter. Most of the starters for both teams staying on the field. I think what we were talking about at the beginning of the game, Archie, first half about preparation, maybe the second half more about evaluation. That's really what we're getting from both Brian Billick and Jim Haslett tonight.
Usually the case in your third preseason game, you like your starters to go the first half. You know, Montre Holland is in at right guard, and the doctors and trainers are looking at Jermaine Mayberry on the sideline. We'll try to get a report there.
Yeah, Mayberry, the free agent pickup, former Philadelphia Eagle.
Reverse.
Coming to Henderson.
Flag.
And Devery cuts back to about the 40-yard line of Baltimore. We'll have to check the marker. Will Demps making the stop again. 4 years out of San Diego State. Had 3 tackles and a sack a week ago in the game against Philadelphia.
I think Devery Henderson is shaking up a little bit too. Maybe his shoulders. He took a pretty hard lick running that reverse.
He came off the field looking the same way against Seattle. That right shoulder after making a catch on a quick curl and run a couple of weeks back.
Here you see him on the reverse. Devery's a good guy to run the reverse too. He's got good speed. Yeah, he went down hard on that left shoulder.
Yeah, that
with a lot of weight on him.
Anthony Weaver, all 280 pounds of him at left end, made that stop. Baltimore's got a quick, multiple package defense that makes a big difference. And there you see they're applying some additional tape to Mayberry's ankle. Quick pitch to McAllister. And Deuce is ushered out of bounds by Lewis inside the 40. Ray, when he's out there, he enjoys himself. He lets everyone know how much he's digging it. And you see some of the reaction.
He is something.
See,
Deuce is good with that stiff arm, but I think Ray has seen a few.
Ray has been on my radio show a couple of times. He was so outspoken about Archie, what he wanted to achieve and wanted to see this team achieve, and it really is team first. But for his team to be successful in his own mind, he must be the MVP.
I think so.
Not of his team, but of the league.
Oh my goodness.
McAllister
Nothing
stopped
there on 3rd down.
They absolutely stuff the run, don't they? Let's face it, the division they're in, the way you have to build a team, Mahaki Kimoyotu comes up to make the run stop.
I was waiting for you to announce who made that tackle. I couldn't do it.
Kimoyotu in to make the stop. 350 pounds of him out of Utah making the tackle. But this team is built to beat the Steelers. It's built to deal with.
You can't have a finesse team in that division.
You have got to be a run stuffing defense and an offense that's ball control to win.
Yeah.
Rodney Williams in to punt it away on 4th and 2. B.J. Sams is back deep. By the way, I should mention, I may have said Carver.
Nice
He's out of Mandeville, Louisiana, and played collegiately at McNeese State. So my apologies to the people of Mandeville, who more than likely are burning up the telephone lines throughout the state of Louisiana. We'll be right back. Baltimore leads 7-0 early here in the second quarter at the Superdome. The Saints do have Baltimore backed up somewhat as they begin this possession. Frankly, Archie, to this point, this is another example of, from an offensive standpoint, not getting what you want on the ground leaves you from maybe dictating tempo, and that's been the Saints' problem playing at home, is dictating the pace of the game. There's Taylor again. Tries to
better
cut
job
that.
there. Better job by the Saints defense.
Cedric Hodge coming over to make the stop, number 52. And a flag is down.
Cedric Hodge, of course, getting extended playing time because of the injury to
Offense
James
number
Allen.
69 is declined. Brings up second down.
Hey, we mentioned Allen's injury, but also C. Grant not playing again. I mean, that's
he's really had tough luck.
Recurring nightmare for him. Second down and 9.
Let's see if the Ravens decide to run it here on 2nd and 9, backed up.
Bowler with a quick drop finds his man. That's Moore, and Clarence Moore is out of bounds after picking up the first down. Fakir Brown made the stop. We're talking about injuries, and early on in this game, Jermaine Mayberry, we're told, has had some ice applied to his thigh. You know about Stinchcombe's season-ending injury. Hakeem will be back. Allen's got the knee problem. It's obviously more severe than previously thought. Young and Talman Gardner. And Gardner, by the way, doesn't need to be injured with those remaining spots at wide receiver.
Bad break for him, is competing for that 3rd receiver spot.
Yep. That was our Tulane Hospital injury report.
On that previous pass, a good play by Clarence Moore. Big receiver, 6'6", 220, 2nd-year player out of Northern Arizona. Just used his strength against Fakir Brown over there, made the catch, got the first down. Kyle Bowler needed that completion. He's been struggling.
I'll tell you something, Anthony Wright is not a bad backup to have.
No, Anthony's, I'd say, one of the better backups in the league.
We'll be seeing him. Of course, he's been in the league now for 8 years. Well, again, right off the right side with a healthy Kobe Bachwalt. Jonathan Sullivan make the stop. It'll be 3rd and short. Taylor well over 100 yards. There's Wright, former Cowboy.
Young man out of South Carolina.
I got to call some of his games early on. Brad Scott was his coach. They thought he might be the next Charlie Ward. Of course, Brad had been with Bobby Bowden as the offensive coordinator to becoming, at that time, South Carolina's head coach.
I saw the day he blew out his knee in Knoxville.
I think this young man.
Jason Kraft checks in the game as a back, said
On the at one point, he was 2 carries for 93 yards.
They speed up Jamal Lewis's injury a little bit. Not a good throw by Kyle Bowler.
Incomplete, intended for Mark Clayton, the rookie holdout out of Oklahoma. Now back into the fold. You look at the they've made. Darling was an outstanding receiver.
Steps in. Back to you.
9:30 remaining in the second quarter. Single back set for the Saints, and it's McAllister. Deuce was talking yesterday about the comfort zone he has with someone in front, and I think it goes back and just listening to his explanation, Archie. I mean, he understands that they're going to be he has to run out of a one-back set, but I think it goes back to the way he's been raised in the game.
I think so. Probably in high school, certainly a 2-back set. I know it was at Ole Miss.
Aaron Stecker comes in for him now.
You know, Zach Norton is in the game for Dale Carter at this right cornerback for the Ravens.
The man out of Cincinnati. Up, looks for Stallworth. Dante down to the 19.
Well, I just mentioned Zach Norton in the game. Stallworth got in between the zone coverage. The cornerback had rolled up. Safety didn't get over.
At the half, the Baltimore Ravens lead the New Orleans Saints 14-6 from the Louisiana Superdome. It's halftime here at the Dome.
Chevy's proud to be in New Orleans.
Michael Lewis takes it to the house. Touchdown. 70 yards. McAllister. Oh, yeah. That should be good. It is. Touchdown. Over the middle, Boo Williams at the goal line.
Catch exciting Saints preseason football right here on UPN New Orleans.
14-6 Baltimore at halftime. Tim Brando alongside Archie Manning. And look, there were moments in the first half. Unfortunately, most of them were to benefit the Ravens, not the New Orleans Saints.
Well, the Ravens got off such a good start running the football. Saints didn't stop them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it knew it'd be hard for the Saints offense to running one good early. Finally got a few things. I thought Aaron hung in there.
Yeah, he did.
And they got some good work on the 2-minute drill, which everyone
And
needs
by the
to
way,
do.
Aaron didn't get roughed up nearly the way Kyle Bowler did.
Took some shots tonight. Saints came with a few blitz, and he took some licks, and he got the touchdown in, which he kind of needed. He hadn't been playing very well, and I think they're still concerned about Kyle Bowler.
Just a few moments ago, Roe Brown down on the sidelines caught up with Jim Haslett.
Tim and Archie, Jim Haslett was not a very happy camper when he came onto the field for the second half. He said the corners have got to tackle, and they did not tackle during the first part of the first half. There were a number of missed tackles. There were players out of position. He was very irate. He was very unhappy. I think you saw him display that at one point during the game. He's still an unhappy camper. Back to you upstairs.
All right, Roe, thank you. The return by Jimmy Williams of the opening kick for the Saints. And he stopped at the 27-yard line. Todd Bauman will start the second half at quarterback. And frankly, he may be feeling as good now as he has as a New Orleans Saint. They had an excellent drive to close out the game last week against the New England Patriots. He had one really good drive and one that wasn't necessarily that good.
6 for 12, 79 yards last week.
And the handoff is to Aaron Stecker. He takes it ahead for a yard, maybe two. They'll actually give him 3. It'll be second down and 7. Stop was made by Roderick Green, number 54. He's in for Terrell Suggs, playing that right defensive end position.
Lou Williams checks in the game. Stallworth and Nate Pooh are the wide receivers. The 2 tight end set. Stecker in the backfield.
Bauman, quick look in, too high for Poole.
Trying to throw the slant pattern. Todd Bauman trying to throw a slant out the right side to Poole. It's a 2 coverage. You'll see the corner roll up right there. Ball just thrown too high. Todd's mechanics off a little bit. Really didn't have his feet set. 3rd and 8 for the Saints.
Well, we talked about preparation and evaluation at the outset of tonight's game. We saw the starters for the bulk of the first half. Now the evaluating begins for those that are perhaps on the bubble for the ultimate cut down day, which is 72 hours away. Bauman looking long. Stallworth right between his hands.
I'm not sure he got his hands on it, but the ball looked like it was right there.
Yes, it did.
He didn't really drop it. It looked like he misjudged it.
Yeah, like a depth perception problem, right?
See it on a replay. Todd lays it out there nice. Yeah, he didn't get his hands on it, but he didn't reach far enough.
No, he didn't.
I don't know. It looked like he didn't see the ball, Tim.
The depth perception. Sometimes you can say the vast size of the dome got in his way.
What a good
beautiful punt by Williams. He's been outstanding tonight. That's B.J. Sams again.
He's been pretty good, too.
Yes, he has. Resourceful back there.
Nice coverage by Al Everest bunch right there, though.
Nate Poole down to make the stop. Baltimore leads early in the 3rd. See some results against the run on first down. Anthony Wright in at quarterback. The second teamer we discussed earlier had an outstanding performance against the Eagles. Almost brought them back from behind to win that game last week. Play fake. Wright's pass is caught. Ahead to the 35-yard line, Patrick Johnson, a veteran who's had some past issues with holding on to the ball, but Brian Billick says that nasty problem that he's had seems to be gone now.
He says he's had a good camp. 7th-year player out of Oregon. Saints have no starters begin this second half, although Jonathan Sullivan is still in the game at the right defensive tackle spot.
He did see appreciable playing time in the opening half, and likely will see even more in the second half. Wright throwing the fade pattern and complete, again looking for Johnson, who was covered nicely by Fred Thomas.
That was Fred Thomas. He was on the coverage on the first completion there.
And a marker down. Brian Billick looking for an explanation.
Offense, number 89, not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, it's still first down.
Rookie mistake.
Yep, Mark Clayton Did not get onto the line of scrimmage. It's early, and he was a holdout. Billick, no doubt, is thinking about that now.
That's right.
It's early in the preseason.
He missed that meeting.
And he was a holdout.
The meeting
yeah.
when they talked about how to line up.
Single back set. That's Tellis Redmond. And good work by Bryant coming up to make the stop.
I think Mr. Sullivan also knifed through there and got a little, almost got him around his ankle, slowed him down a little bit.
There he is. Yep, you're right. He was the first to get there. Bryant finished up. The thing they love about Jonathan Sullivan, and they talk about it over and over again, when I say they, I'm talking about the Saints organization. He has such quick feet and quick hands.
That's why he was the 6th pick in the draft.
That's right.
Good passes.
Right, has it knocked away. Good defensive work coming from the linebacker as well as Fred Thomas. Pass was intended for Clayton. Alfred Fincher made the play that time.
Alfred Fincher in at the middle linebacker spot. Josh Bullock in at a safety along with Mel Mitchell. We mentioned Fred Thomas one corner, Jason Kraft the other corner. Yeah, I believe Fincher got a hand on that.
Yes, he did.
Good reaction.
And Fred Thomas, of course, was signed to cover in that sequence. 3rd down and 16. Anthony Wright is always one of those guys that can hurt you with a moving pocket from time to time.
Saints are coming with just a 3-man rush here.
And he got away from some of it. Pass is caught by Redmond, stopped by Cedric Hodge at the 38-yard line. So it'll be a punt formation for Baltimore.
I'll say anyone picks up a 3rd and 16 anymore in professional football.
Hard to do. I believe the Indianapolis Colts do okay in those situations from time to time.
They're going to find out. They got to play these Ravens on opening night.
Yes, they do.
In Baltimore.
Zazdadil will punt it away. And a fair catch is called for by Jimmy Williams at the 20-yard line. The Ravens lead it by 8. A 43-yard punt with no return. We'll be right back. Of age, and the turf toe problem is still something he has to deal with occasionally, but Deion Sanders still has game, and the Ravens love having him. And Archie, we talk about throwbacks, and this time around for Deion Sanders, he's more of a mentor, and you can see the touch of gray coming in on the chin of Deion Sanders. I got to speak with him and visit with him quite a bit at CBS while he was doing the NFL Today, and of course I was in doing college football Saturdays, and I think this chance for him is gravy. I mean, he really relishes the opportunity to be in a position to help a young football player, not just a team, but other young players. Quick out taken by Stallworth out around the 28. So, you know, if a veteran like that can come back, you know, 16, 17 years in, and he still has the wheels, why not?
Well, he was so talented. He was so fast when he's young. When a guy like that gets old, he's kind of at the ability of a lot of other people when they're young. Tim, he's just a tremendous player, tremendous cover guy, one of the fastest guys to play the game. You see him right there by Jamal Lewis.
I thought Nate Poole had a great line. He said, when if I would love to line up opposite him, I'd come out there with my camera. Unfortunately, Deion's not playing tonight. Antoine Smith ahead for a first down. You talked about that power running, similar to that of a Deuce McAllister. That's what Antoine Smith brings to the table. He was stopped by Jarrett Johnson.
Well, so many times tonight the Saints were stopped right at the initial surge right there. This was, of course, last week against the Patriots. Good hard running by Antoine.
There is a similarity, though, to the style of back that he is to Deuce McAllister. Stecker is sort of the contrast in style, and this is the guy that really is a mirror image in some respects to Deuce.
Play action.
Bauman in trouble and sacked. Back at the 20. Coming through to get him, Dwan Edwards.
Actually, after the play action, Todd had time to throw. He wanted to get the ball to DeVray Henderson, but it was 2 people on him, so he wisely just had to peel it and heel it.
Let's go down to Roe Brown. I believe he's got the always talkative Dwight Smith with him.
Thanks a lot, Tim. Yes, indeed, we do have safety Dwight Smith here. Rough beginning. Coach Haslett, not very happy. Talked about the tackling by DBs, linebackers, everybody. Your thoughts on it, Dwight?
He right. You know, the proof is in the pudding. You know, anytime you come out first play and you let a guy go 50 yards to score, it's not a good, good sign for us. You know, as many steps as we took forward in the last couple of weeks, we took a few back this week, and hopefully, it won't put us back too far. We still tuning up, getting ready for Carolina, but we all know this was really the last time that the starting unit really get to play.
Like, can teams get into a tackling slump?
Yeah.
Where it just seems like...
Yeah, I mean, you really can. It might sound funny, but you really can. And, it's hard to really get the full speed tackling in practice. But somehow we just got to get better, man, as a whole unit.
Chester Taylor, they didn't need Jamal Lewis tonight, it appeared.
I mean, we all NFL players, just because Jamal Lewis really get the bulk of the carries, you never really get to see what Chester Taylor can do. But he's a good back. He's from up my way, up by Detroit, Michigan, so I knew him. He played at Toledo. Good back, but I think we made him seem like he was great tonight.
Oh, you got a chance to see what he can do tonight. Dwight Smith, thanks a lot. All righty. Back up to you, Tim and Archie.
I'll give Dwight Smith some credit. He took the licks, and Rodney Williams will now punt it away. Nate Poole just dropped a first down catch to force this punt formation, too.
So you got to make that catch. Of course, Nate Poole trying to make this receiving core. Veteran player. A little penalty there. Dwight Smith's a good acquisition. He's really, boys, talking to the coaches, he's continued to just play extremely well in practice. They're really happy about having him at the safety spot.
B.J. Sams awaits the punt from Williams, who's been booming him tonight.
Yeah, you jinxed him a little.
Yeah.
That was a little
a wobbler. Yep. But Sams has some room, and he's up to the 40. That's what you want in your punter, the consistency. They're the veteran DBs, McKenzie and Smith. We'll be back. Throughout the Gulf South region. Final preseason tune-up before game at Carolina to open the regular season for New Orleans. Right, again, boy, a beautiful bootleg action. And he finds his tight end, Trent Smith, number 88. And he's ushered out of bounds up near midfield. That's where Anthony Wright, I think, can really excel. With the bootleg action, if you give him a moving pocket, you think about Urban Meyer, and if he had him as a college quarterback, he would have had that floating moving pocket of his working.
It's hard to believe, Anthony, this is his 8th year to be around.
Yeah, it is. Makes me feel really old. And premature movement up front. I saw him in the elevator at the hotel. I looked at him with Samari Roll. I recognized him, and here's Mike Carey's call.
False start. Offense number 2 with a head bomb. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
But I met with him so many times, Archie, before his games, as you're oftentimes to do when preparing for a college game. You're oftentimes going to meet with the quarterback. And so I immediately recognized him, and he did me. He says, I had no idea you were doing pro games. I said, yeah, occasionally they have me get involved for the guys that get paid. Well, he's just a great young man.
Yeah, he's good. Anthony's a good guy.
I wish him nothing but the best in his future. From the 45, 2nd and 6. That's Redmond again. Gets ahead for perhaps 2 yards on the play. Cedric Hodge re-enters the game, as does Jimmy Williams. Defensively for the Saints.
Rodney Leslie in at one of the defensive lineman spots, along with Jimmy Burdo.
T.J. Slaughter seeing some playing time. He's coming out now as the defensive adjustments are made on this 3rd and 4 for Baltimore. Nickel defensive package in for the Saints. Wright's pass is batted down. Bryant was coming through there.
Bryant.
Big number 92. Sullivan got in there as well. There's Jim Fossil. he's got to be on everyone's hot list for a head coaching job next year, don't you think?
I would think so. I think he'll get some interviews.
He had to be convinced to move into this position. You know, a year ago he was a consultant. They really believe he's been working very closely with Kyle Bowler, and they have also acquired Rick Neuheisel as a quarterback's coach.
Yeah, Kyle's getting plenty of coaching.
Yes, he is. That is a nice boot. Jimmy Williams with the fair catch at the 7-yard line. Timeout, 8:12 remaining, a 45-yard boot. We'll be right back.
Call it Joe Horn. Joe, a difficult start for this team at the beginning of this game. You know, you come off the big win over New England, which you all were pointing at, and then you come in and it looked like you were going to lay an egg. Your thoughts at that point?
Right, so far it looked that way, but the game is still going on. We as players know what we have to do to win football game. Our concern is the Carolina Panthers. I know, you know, it's preseason, and I know we didn't have a good showing, the defense or the offense, but we're going to put it together. And we're going to shock a lot of people.
That's what I was going to ask you. You know, 2 weeks ago, you talked a lot about the New England game. Obviously, there were things you wanted to accomplish. What did you want to accomplish in this game, and did you accomplish any of those?
Just moving the ball. They got a good defense now. If I'm not mistaken, they was the #1 defense in the league the past couple of years. So we moved the ball a little bit. Definitely got the passing game going a little bit. So we're not happy with everything right now, but it's not a big concern of ours. And we're going to go back and practice hard and get prepared for the Carolina Panthers.
We talked on the field 2 weeks ago.
It'll be different against Carolina.
When we talked 2 weeks ago on the field, you dropped a couple passes and you weren't happy about that. Better with your showing today?
A little bit. I mean, I try not to drop the balls, just concentrate. I was too anxious the last couple of weeks, not focusing on the ball, but I knew I had a good beat on it. But I tried today just to focus on the football and making a run after the catch. And today, so far, it was pretty good.
Overall, the offense performance tonight, which you say you're really not worried about, right, because it doesn't count, but it has to make you, you know.
C minus. Why? Because there were some opportunities that we just misread on. We knew we were in the right place at the right time, but like me and Aaron on one pass play, we were just off a little bit on the timing. I was there and he was looking, but he was thinking another thing and I was thinking another thing. So it's not like I'm in the wrong spot and AB throwing the ball in the stands. So we're close with that, and all that takes us a little. All right, he's distracted. All right, Joe Horn, always a pleasure. Thanks a lot. Back up to you, Tim and Archie.
It's not often that he's distracted. Boo Williams is down, and that's why we have the stoppage in play. And you see the reaction from Aaron Brooks and a few others. By the way, that C- reaction that we got from Joe Horn speaks volumes, I think. And Joe, obviously, his concern is for his fallen player, Boo Williams, who just had a son born the other day. We'll check on his status when we come back.
This is a turtle.
They're taking Boo Williams off the field. They're concerned about his knee, but he is able to put some pressure on some weight on both of the legs. Joe Horn talking with the trainers. Let's take a look again here at what happened. He gets set up there by the defensive player, Jared Johnson, and then goes down. Watch the leg undercut here.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. He got stood up by Jarrett Johnson, and that led him to the undercut coming from the backside.
That doesn't look good.
Brooks and Horn going into the tunnel with him, concerned about their teammate. And here's Bauman.
No one's open.
He got rid of it wisely. In the general neighborhood of Nate Poole. Roderick Green providing the pressure of Bauman as he was headed to the sidelines. Boo Williams on Thursday had a son born, 8 pounds. Amir Javier was born. So it's been an active week. He missed at least 1 day of practices, I believe.
Yeah, Boo really battling to make this football team. A lot of the media people anyway thinking that Conwell and Hilton have really. Well, Hilton's played more in preseason.
Absolutely. Bauman looking deep. Nice adjustment made by Stallworth, but unable to reel it in.
Like Dante was just in a dead sprint and then really didn't see the ball thrown, then looked up.
Yep.
Zach Norton again on the coverage, then looked up. Couldn't tell if he got his hands on it or not. Pretty good throw.
That's one of those classic, the defender has his back to the ball and you're waiting for Stallworth to look back, and it didn't appear to happen, at least in time, for him to bring it down.
Pretty good throw by Todd Bauman.
Rodney Williams with the boot. Got all of this one, long and high. Taken down by Tellus Redmond. Redmond run down at the 25-yard line. Steve Gleason, number 37, made the stop. 54-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Well, the Ravens will have it. Family comedy will never be the same. We're putting the Mac down. Bernie Mac, premiering this fall on UPN New Orleans. Ravens with Anthony Wright. You see Mike McKenzie and company on the sidelines for the Saints. There was plenty of concern for Boo Williams a moment ago. I'm sure there still is. Redmond ahead for about 3 yards, running behind the left side of that offensive line for the Ravens with the backups in there. Marcus Ogden, Thatcher's Saze is in at center now. As you see Jason Jefferson making that stop. It's a young man that could make an opportunity for himself to make this club as a sixth round pick for this team out of Wisconsin.
Alfred Fincher out from his middle linebacker spot. Good stop.
He and TJ Slaughter are in the game.
It might be TJ.
It was.
Number. TJ Slaughter, middle linebacker, good bit of his career, playing on the outside now and trying to learn this defense. And we mentioned the Ravens trying to win their first preseason games after having losses to the Falcons and the Eagles.
3rd and 8. Wright's pass is caught. And a marker down. It's Trent Smith. Reels it in about the 35-yard line. Fred Thomas, the cornerback, making the stop. And we'll check the flag.
All indications it'll be against the Ravens. Did he make the first?
Pass interference. Offense, number 88. 10-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
Brian Billick can't believe it. He's in mid-season form with that tirade.
You got to practice your tirades just like everyone else preseason.
Brian Billick will definitely get in your ear. Third down and 18 coming up.
Saints are showing blitz. I don't think they'll bring a lot of people. Usually just drop off in 3rd and 18. We mentioned earlier how hard it is in pro football these days to pick up a long 3rd down. Just dumps it off. Now make the tackle.
Justin Green, the recipient, up to about the 27-yard line. For the Saints defense, with the help of the whistle and the flag, much to the chagrin of Brian Billick, get the defensive stop. And Baltimore will be forced to punt.
Brian's still going.
Yeah.
Well, both coaches got to practice their tirade tonight. Jim Haslett after the helmet lick, and now Brian on an offensive interference call.
Billick is one of those, and Brian's one of my favorite coaches in the league. He always tells you what he thinks. If you're preparing for a game, there's no better coach in the National Football League to meet with to get a read on what their focus of attention will be. That ball was actually hit by a defender, and that's why there's a marker down. I believe is the spot of where the ball was hit. I'm thinking, although there also may be an infraction, we'll have to wait and see. Kelly, 45, actually touched it with his helmet.
You know, Brian Billick has a couple interesting statistics on his resume. As an offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings in 1998, his offense set a new NFL record with 556 points.
Yeah, with he was coaching with Dennis Green.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, as the head coach.
During the kick, holding by the receiving team, number 27. 10-yard penalty. They retain possession. 1st down.
I mentioned 556 points, offensive coordinator. Now, as the head coach of the Ravens, when they won the Super Bowl in 2000, his defense gave up but 165 points.
Yeah.
That's the two extremes.
Well, and by the way, give the guy a lot of credit when you're sometimes coaches will their system on any team. And when he had Trent Dilfer at quarterback and that incredible defense with Siragusa and some of the monsters that he had defensively, he said, you know what, we're going to line up and beat you with power football, let our defense win these games, and he got a Super Bowl championship out of it. And a lot of coaches that are innovators offensively would never change their approach to the game.
You're right.
But he did.
And they've been somewhat patient, I think, with Kyle Boller, although he's just in his 3rd year, and it's hard to make that transition into pro football. But it seems like, Tim, that everything else is in place for this football team.
Right.
And some people are questioning, you know, why are you sticking with a young quarterback and going through all these growing pains when everything else is ready?
Well, there still may be a willingness to suggest that we were right when we took him. You know, I mean, my guess guess is that still does exist, as it would with a lot of general managers and head coaches. But Kyle Boller is a guy that has an incredible intensity. I was talking to Rick Neuheisel about that, who's been acquired as a quarterback's coach to go along with Jim Fossil. And Rick had an interesting take on it. He said Kyle Boller may actually be, you know, the speed of the game is something a lot of players are trying to catch up to when they come in. He actually may be ahead, a little too quick in his feel for the game.
That's interesting.
Antoine Smith carries, gets it up to about the 20, maybe the 21.
You know, I know Rick Neuheisel's had a few problems there at the University of Washington, Colorado, but he's going to surface again somewhere, and not just as an NFL quarterback coach.
Let's remind people that, yeah, he had some problems, but in the end, there was a lawsuit that led to a $4 million settlement in his favor.
Right. He's going to surface. I think he's a good football coach.
2nd down and 9. I believe Rick is up in the booth and is a mouthpiece to Jim Fossil. As Devery Henderson with the quick out to about the 29-yard line.
Got a flag in the backfield there. That was a good ball thrown just a little bit behind Devery Henderson, but he came up with the catch.
Personal foul.
There's Rick,
Major
just to the right.
On the offense, number 68 against his offense.
There's Rick Neuheisel right in the right-hand corner, right there.
There.
2nd down.
He just doesn't want much airtime tonight. I've known him since he was a San Antonio gunslinger in the USFL. How old are we, right?
So, well, let's see. He was quarterback at UCLA, wasn't he?
Took him to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And he's won the Rose Bowl as a player as well as a coach. Saints backed up to the 10-yard line.
Saints in a 2 tight end set.
It was Nchukwu and Ndukwe that was guilty of that infraction. Bauman. Out pattern is caught at the 11-yard line. Zachary Hilton. Maybe a pickup of a yard, maybe 2.
Coverage was a little tight. Todd had to throw low and hard, and Zach Hilton comes up with the catch. Jermaine Winburn on the coverage.
2 minutes, just over 2 minutes left in the 3rd. We just told moments ago that Alfred Fincher may have broken his wrist, and that is bad news. The backup middle linebacker.
Well, that's a blow to the special teams. Right?
Is it ever? Bauman looking for Poole, who appeared to break late. Pass was underthrown. It'll be 4th down. So Alfred Fincher is a casualty tonight. That's not good news for him. This stage of the year, at some point you begin to say, don't you, Archie? It's one of the reasons why in week 4 you rarely see the starters play that much of the preseason, because everyone's just trying to endure the preseason at that point.
And you just want to be healthy for opening day. You said Alfred Fincher, of course, your 3rd-round draft choice. He's not going to play a lot of middle linebacker unless there's injuries this year, but I assure you he would have played a lot of special teams because he's a talent.
Yep.
He's going to be a part of this football team for the next few years.
Tellis Redmond's return of that 42-yard punt was 13 yards.
And the Saints are short anyway at linebacker, as we mentioned earlier, with the lingering knee injury to James Allen.
And C. Grant obviously not playing tonight either. The other outside linebacker who's just been besieged with injuries since becoming a New Orleans Saint.
Saints let Roger Knight go this week.
They did, waived him.
Good field position here for Anthony Wright and his Ravens.
From the 41. Wright's pass is caught inside the 30. That's Rob. Are you ready for this one?
Go ahead.
Abiyamiri.
You got it.
Rob Abiyamiri. And does a nice job. A rookie out of Maryland.
I tell you, did a nice job was Anthony Wright. Saints had a blitz on. He hung in the pocket real good. And the Ravens did it. Backup people did a good job of picking this up. Oh, Anthony gets massaged just as he lets it go. Good pass. The coverage wasn't bad by Jason Kraft.
No, it wasn't.
The throw was right there.
Abiyamiri is one of 6 tight ends that they have right now on this huge roster. Flag goes down as Redmond carried. Jason Jefferson.
Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
That goes against Thatcher Cezay, 2 years out of Montana.
You're getting to practice all your pronunciations right at once here.
It's like it's an oral exam.
Yes.
I'm being given in phonetics tonight. You know, the Ravens are one of those teams, though, Archie, with their first unit, and it's been that way for a couple of seasons now. And Jim Fossil looks on, the offensive coordinator. But this is a Ravens team that's been pretty much intact with its veteran players and will be for some time because of the contracts that they have been able to execute. There's Tellus Redmond.
This organization's done a good job. Been there back in Baltimore for 10 years now. City loves their team. They missed football when it was gone.
Yeah, and when you've been back 10 years and already have a Super Bowl championship, that doesn't hurt either. And Brian Billick would be quick to tell you Ozzie Smith has a lot to do with
Ozzie Newsome.
Excuse me, Ozzie Newsome would have a lot to do with these contracts that have been made. I don't know if he would be turning cartwheels over it, doing any flips in the booth, but you're right. From top to bottom, it's an outstanding organization. We've played 3 here at the Superdome. It's 14-6.
Nice ride.
Baltimore. We're going to show you where we believe Alfred Fincher may have broken that wrist. Archie, watch the right side of your screen as he comes in from the middle here and then reaches in with that right arm. Take a look right here.
Right there.
And then falls down. I believe he actually fell on his own wrist. And he's holding it at that point. You can see.
See him right there.
Tough break. 2nd and 19 for the Ravens as we go to the 4th.
Got him that time.
Yeah, and Sullivan was also in there. Blitz coming from McKinnon. Ronald McKinnon.
You know, Ronald McKinnon's kind of an interesting pickup for the Saints. He's got a lot of experience. Really had some good years with Arizona. Made a lot of tackles, but they just haven't let him play very much in this preseason. I wonder what their plans are for him.
Well, given the circumstances of depth, I think
Venture out. He's probably on this team. He's probably the backup middle line.
He'll play quite a bit. 3rd down and 30 for Anthony Wright and company.
What do you call here, Coach Brando?
Pass incomplete. Intended for Randy Himes. And the coverage by Fred Booker. So a punt formation now for Baltimore. You see Jim Fossil chatting with Anthony Wright. Jimmy Williams is back. And Reese Lloyd will punt it away this time. Rookie out of Minnesota.
Oh, nice punt.
Plenty of air underneath it. Fair catch called for. And he lets it bounce inside the 5-yard line. That's one you need to catch.
Yeah, Jimmy Williams, I wish he'd have caught that one.
Yep.
Kind of a chunky punter, the backup punter they got there, huh?
He chunked it. He chunked it inside the 5.
Chevy's proud to have the most dependable.
Of course, Kingsbury came in first. But of course, this is the young man that was drafted in the fifth round.
Kind of got the crowd excited in the Seattle game. Went 3 for 7, 28 yards, and lined up under guard.
Just his second appearance. Yeah, it did happen, but it's not as if it's never happened before.
It's happened to everyone.
And
just not always in front of 35,000.
That's right. And your first game. Aaron Stecker with that run got very little, if anything. And he did look good early, and it was as loud as this building got that particular night because they had not had much to cheer about. And of course, we know that he can beat you with his legs. The question is, can he read defenses and understand what needs to be done down and distance-wise in certain situations? And there, of course, is where Joseph tried to save him, rookie on rookie. Stecker out to about the 10, still fighting ahead. Aaron Stecker just about 3 yards shy of a first down. There it is again. I think you had the greatest comment. The other rookie did not want the ball snapped to him. So Keith Joseph said, "Get over here." This is not a shotgun formation for the tailback to take the snap.
He's got a little third and short here. Let's see what Mike Shepard calls.
Yeah, they actually got a good spot. A yard away. McPherson trying to get away. Can he do it on his own? He may have.
It's close.
It's very close. This one may be one for the chains.
I think he's short.
Yeah, it does appear that he is. That was an interesting call.
Well, it was third and short. I think Mike was just hoping that the Ravens would be expecting the handoff and get a little bootleg, and he could run forward to hit the tight end. Pretty good defense by the Ravens.
Overall quickness of Rex Ryan, the defensive coordinator. His defense is something most defensive coordinators dream of. Rodney Williams to boot it away. Dallas Redmond back there short a player. Saints only had 10 on the field. They quickly get Ronald McKinnon out there.
McKinnon, that's probably where Fincher was. That's what happens when you get an injury sometimes. You then report it to the guy that's supposed to be in for him. Flag down.
Redmond down. Right at the 46-yard line. 43-yard boot, and we'll have to check out the marker.
Tim, we mentioned we'll be in Oakland on Thursday night. This Raven team will be hosting the Redskins in their final preseason game. Before, as we mentioned before, hosting the Colts.
By the way, there's an organization that has a lot of questions to answer. The Washington Redskins.
Well,
During the kick, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 40, the receiving team, hitting an opponent out of bounds. The 15-yard penalty. They keep the ball. First down. Timeout.
Mark Estelle guilty that time from Utah State. It's preseason, folks. We'll be right back. Look at our UPN New Orleans fan cam, brought to you by St. Tammany Parish Hospital. Excellence in healthcare close to home. There are some youngsters enjoying themselves. Just another day at the big ball yard. Some dancing kids on display here at the Superdome. From the 30-yard line, first down for the Ravens. Anthony Wright still in at quarterback. Saints backups defensively have done a nice job. Wright finds the open man, Trent Smith again, who's been a favorite target of his, and he was really hit hard by Jimmy Williams.
Trent Smith, a third-year player out of Oklahoma. Late round draft choice a couple years back.
We were talking about and again the composure that Wright has, and that's the thing that you've been in the league a long time. You've once started in this league with the Dallas Cowboys. You should have that at this stage. And I think his comfort zone, and he may be at some point down the line, if Bowler doesn't get it done, a quality option as a backup that could see quite a bit of playing time. Flags down. Jason Jefferson may have moved prematurely.
False start. Offense number 88. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Make that Trent Smith. So the reaction came from the Saints defensively after Smith moved. But we were talking about the Redskins a moment ago. I mean, Joe Gibbs, that was a huge move to bring the Hall of Famer back. And that's an organization with a lot of unanswered questions.
Well, I think Joe, kind of like Mike Ditka, when you're away from the game as long as he was, and the game's changed a lot since Joe Gibbs left the game. Not to say they won't do a lot better this year.
They're one of those organizations that have put themselves to some extent in contractual
Oh yeah, their
issues.
owners spent so much money. They tried the quick fix, and that'll get you with this salary cap.
And of course, Patrick Ramsey is a guy that really, when you think about it, it's time for him much as it is time for Kyle Bowler to produce. But Patrick Ramsey is a guy that, frankly, I don't think has really had the chance to show what he can do.
Yeah, I think Patrick's going to do fine. I was a little surprised they took a quarterback in Jason Campbell in the first round.
Yeah, that was.
Like they had other needs. And I know they had another. It was a second pick in the first round.
3rd down and 8 for Anthony Wright. Trent Smith again. And Jimmy Williams takes him out, but he's very close to the first down. May have it.
You know, we really hadn't talked a lot about Todd Heap, who's a former Pro Bowler, former #1 draft choice, who's had an injury. I wonder if he's going to be ready to start the season.
They say he should be. He's been out with an ankle and a shoulder problem. He really, last year, Archie, as difficult as it was for them to get the ball to the wide receiver, and then when you have Heap injured, that took a lot of the options away.
Well, it did, and that was tough on Kyle Bowler because they really didn't have a lot of outside receivers, and that, especially with a young quarterback, when you got a tight end like a Todd Heap, he can bail you out a lot of times. And being injured, I know he was in the Pro Bowl the year before.
Right.
Being injured, they really were limited in what they could do in the passing game.
But you know what they did though, Archie, that you have to admire when you win a Super Bowl. And then you take a bath because you've got so many players that you can no longer afford to keep. They decided Ray Lewis will stay. Everybody else must go. We'll take the 1 year or 2 year issue that we have and then ultimately build our team with longer term contracts. And that's what they've been able to do. Most of these guys, offensively and defensively, are going to be together 2 or 3 years. You don't see that often in the NFL any longer.
Okay, we talked about their organization earlier. They've done a good job.
You saw how much they needed for the first down. It's an inch, maybe 2 at best. This is one of those where you say sometimes it's preseason. Why not have a 4th down? But I think we may have a challenge.
It's being challenged by Baltimore.
Well, that's exactly what we were missing. The only thing we were missing tonight was a challenge. Coach Billick determined that we needed to take a commercial break, so we'll take one. We'll be right back.
Spotted short of the line. The forward progress was a few inches over the line. That means that the result of the play is a first down. Baltimore will not be charged for a team timeout.
So there you have it.
Wow.
And Brian Billick gets a real kick out of that. You know what really depresses me is we didn't get a chance to see our beautiful official Coaches Challenge triple box that normally the production team will give us whenever we have a challenge. They got it so quickly, and Jim Fossil also gets some humor out of it. First down. In the end, they got what they wanted.
I don't think Coach Haslett's laughing.
No, not at all.
And he hadn't laughed all night.
It all began with Chester Taylor after a B.J. Sams kickoff return of 47 yards. Chester Taylor took off for 43 on the game's opening play. And that grimace has been on the face of Jim Haslett all night. Redmond carrying it again. He's getting a lot of work tonight. Chester Taylor. Jamal Lewis not playing. Out with a bone spur in his foot, but nothing too serious. And that's something we really haven't touched on. Jamal Lewis, what he went through in the offseason, the circumstances surrounding his arrival. And he's actually talking openly about what he's gone through, saying that for years he couldn't talk about it. He's glad that it's done. It's a life-altering experience.
They've been hanging over him since his rookie year.
Right. Pass incomplete. Intended for Clayton, going deep. Jimmy Williams was covering.